So I'm near a place called Stirling Hull, which is Kirkburton, and it's near Huddersfield. And I'm coming across here to look at an old heavy anti-aircraft battery. This old anti-aircraft battery was part of the 31st North Midland Anti-Aircraft Brigade. It was down as classed as H16. I'm assuming H means heavy. Okay, let's have a look round and see what we can see, what there's left of it. What I can see on the map of this area, anti-aircraft batteries round here was about 50 all told, and this was dedicated as a H, which is HAA, which is heavy anti-aircraft, which I think had something like 75 to 100 millimetre guns in it. This place was set up around about 1936, or I should say the anti-aircraft brigade were anyway, and then obviously subdivisions off that. And obviously the threat from Nazi Germany when they were re-arming themselves. I think Britain realised that at some point they needed to defend themselves. So hence, especially targets like this, they need to set themselves up to make sure that we were adequately defended against the Luftwaffe. Now, I'm not sure what this room's actually for. I can't find a lot of information on it, to be honest with you. But with the reinforced roof, the big steel beams here, these big concrete beams, it could possibly have been, I'd say, artillery storage. These would have been windows at some point, so if you had a blast, if say for instance something happened regarding a bomb going off and exploding everything else, then these windows here would have been windows at some point, I would say, and there's some windows over there as well. They'd have basically dispersed the power of the actual explosion. The roof is probably reinforced so the shot wouldn't go up, it would more likely go sideways, because at the back of, or the front of me here, there's a where the anti-aircraft gun would have been. So if you think about it, explosions or dispersion of the actual power would have gone through the windows. There's a steel door on the front, so that would have probably been fairly secure, and it wouldn't have gone up, but the power would have gone outwards. Apparently there was a camp down here. I'm not sure if it's a POW camp or just a camp. Now there is a picture, which I'll put up in a minute, of this camp, of the picture anyway, of people in this camp. But if there is, I don't even know where it is, and I've tried to find a bit of information, but I can't find anything really. The only thing I can see, if you look on the overhead picture, is something maybe down here, but I'm not exactly sure. There's approximately about 50 anti-aircraft batteries in this area, covering Bradford, Leeds, Huddersfield, and the surrounding area. And there's a good reason for that. Huddersfield made mini submarines, and I know some of these submarines were used to guide the invading fleet on D-Day landings onto the beaches themselves. Also, the Bradford Leeds airport isn't that far away as far as I know, and they had a massive shadow factory making Avro Lancasters alongside the actual airport itself. Now apparently it was disguised that well with the camouflage that the Germans didn't even know it was there, so it never got bombed. The actual shadow factory covered something like 1.5 million square feet of area, so it was pretty big. So if they covered it up so the Germans didn't know it was there, they did a really good job on it. Leeds also had one of the, I think, biggest Royal Ordnance factories as well, making I think it were different guns and shells and bullets and stuff like that. So this area was quite heavy in the Second World War industry. This looks like an overhead shelter, to be honest with you, for the troops above who are manning these anti-aircraft stations. So if it got too much, they could come down here and give it some protection. There's some observation posts here as well, which, if you look, they're over here. So you can see cyber ones with some kind of step less than taller than me, and I'm 6 foot. Have a look, see what's going on and what's happening. So these holes are called loopholes. The British call them loopholes, the Germans call them embrasures, and the French call them crenelles. And they are for observation or even for firing small arms through as well. So for instance, they're being attacked. They've at least got limited range with a small gun. I wouldn't be surprised if a machine gun wouldn't fit in there. More than likely, probably a Enfield or something like that. Hope you can hear me. Steps here to get up there to have a good look round, so they would have binoculars on here and look to see which way the aeroplanes are coming. Look down below, there's some more loopholes there. They're more than likely so if they did get attacked by the army, the Her, or the enemy, wherever it may be, then at least they can defend themselves at some point with small arms. There's a recess there with again a loophole, but I don't see there's a way in there. I'm not sure what that would have been for. Right, so let's nip underneath and have a look at inside the below this this anti-aircraft post. It's pretty low under here, so I'm 6 foot and I'm crouching, but this here is definitely where they would have more than likely had to defend themselves if they were attacked by infantry. Whoa. This is very low. This is probably just over a metre in height, which is about 3 foot or 39 inches. It's not very big, to be honest with you. And this is where the other anti-aircraft gun would have been situated. Difficult to see if it was actually fixed or not. It could have been one that you could manoeuvre. As I said before, 75 to 100 mil calibre, no doubt quick firing as well, and no doubt there'd have been a formidable foe for the Luftwaffe coming over here. The Luftwaffe would have been pretty accurate in bombing places like York and Leeds and Huddersfield and places like that, because they used a guide, and it's called the Baedeker Guide. And what Baedeker Guide is, it's actually a series of books, of travel books, with detailed drawings and descriptions of all the towns in England, and the Germans would use that. Now, I know at the beginning of the war we took all these signposts and that down in order to confuse the Germans if they decide to come over here and invade us. But to be honest with you, they'd have had road maps anyway, like we have road maps of their place as well. So whether that would have mattered, taking the signs down, I just don't know. I think 1944 onwards, especially June the 6th, 1944, a lot of the anti-aircraft batteries and searchlight batteries were moved over to Normandy, and on the as the Allies were advancing, and they were set up to use as anti-aircraft gun installations there, obviously just in case the Luftwaffe came across and tried to stop us advancing forward, going on to Germany. When the threat of invasion started to quieten down, probably after 1942 when the Americans came into the war, that was 7th of December 1941. The next threat, to be honest with you, was the doodle bug, or the flying bomb, or the V1. And I think it flew over here. I'm not quite sure. But they had a range of about 200 miles. And normally they were fired from the north coast of France and that area. But in order to get further up into England, these V1s were strapped on the bottom of German bombers, mainly the Heinkel He-111. And they were, when they near the coast, they were basically pointed to where they need to go, released, and then they did the thing, they did the job. So I would assume if they were aiming for places like York or anywhere around here, then they had to contend with that. This building and these series of sections of the building, I'm not exactly sure what they're for. I don't think they were for billeting soldiers, to be honest with you, when I think about it. They've got big steel doors on it, so I've got a feeling more than likely they kept all the munitions there. Whether it was artillery shells or it was guns, bullets, whatever it may be, dynamite, who knows. But it looks as though the local farmers turn it over now. By 8th of May 1945, the war in Europe was over. They didn't have anything, they didn't need these anymore. There was nothing to defend, to be honest with you. In 1955, they had a reorganisation of the anti-aircraft brigades, and they ended up becoming a territorial army. But however, as I said before, there was nothing much to be honest with you, there's nothing much to defend really. I mean, things had moved on. We'd gone to the rocket age by then, and these places would have been probably a waste of time if, for instance, in the Cold War, which we were, for rockets from maybe Russia. So in 1961, all of the anti-aircraft brigades were disbanded. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that little bit of history, a little bit of information walking around here, as much as I can see, was of information for you. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.